All right, this is my final project for Introduction to Machine Learning, and we're going to be going over the chatbot that I've put together. And so we'll just start by going over our pre-processing. So let me close this real quick. So the goal of this chatbot is to serve as a bot that can help students, faculty, or staff know what times their favorite on-campus dining is open or closed or whatever else, just general information. Um, so this is very basic, but it's a good example of how neural networks work, and a very basic example to machine learning, and can kind of give us some insights into Gen AI that we know today, like ChatGPT. So to get started, we'll go over our intents and our greetings. So we have this ginormous JSON file that just has a bunch of different information in it. So we start here. Um, we have greetings. So we have a tag that's greetings. So it's hello, hey, hi, good day, greetings, what's up, how's it going? So these are just different ways you can say hello. And the bot has a few different responses it'll give to these, such as hello, hey, what can I do for you? Same with goodbye. And then to get into um, the actual dining, we'll just take Chick-fil-A as an example. So we have what time does CFA close, when does CFA close, what time does Chick-fil-A open, what time is Chick, et cetera, et cetera. So we have different ways you can ask the same question. And regardless of that, our bot is trying to pick up on the keywords time, Chick-fil-A, close. Those are the most important things to it. Or time, Chick-fil-A, open, time, Chick-fil-A, close. So those are the keywords it's trying to dial in, and it'll give us this response of just general information that's open 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, um, and closed on Sunday. So we can also say what time does most close, et cetera, for each place. Then I added in some allergy info, like just Chick-fil-A use peanut oil, and then just um, some random things here. That kind of just serve as like if this were used on like a mobile app or something like that. So let's go into actually building our neural network here, where we take and dive into this training.py model. So we import all of the things that we need here. And so we create a words array, a classes array, documents array, and we create this ignore letters. So this is trying to ignore any special characters because we just want our bot to be focused on the words. We define our intents, or sorry, create a for loop that says for intent and intents, which is all of these. Um, we'll create a list, and we'll create patterns, and we'll create a word list, and we will create a document of those words. And then for testing, you can print the documents, and that'll give us, pretty much all of these intents. Um, Same here for the words. So from there, we dump those words into our words.pickle file over here and our classes.pickle file over here, and that just breaks them up. So now we actually train on those documents we've just created. So now we're training on the classes.pickle file and words.pickle file. And from there, we'll run that 200 times and we will save that to a chatbot model.h5 file, and that creates our chatbot. So we're going to go ahead and run this just for purposes of showing our output. So we'll give that a second. And while we wait on that to run, which it already is, we'll go ahead and take a look at our actual chatbot. So we see we come down with like a 85 to 88% accuracy on that. So while that seems pretty good, like I could say hello and it might give me something completely unrelated. So the actual chatbot, again, import everything we need. We want to open our intents.json file. We want our chatbot to read it because now it's gone through training and now we're just reading that file. And so we open our pickle files and our chatbot file and we clean up our sentences. So that's again going back to Getting rid of special characters, we want to find a word in the sentence word. So that's taking each sentence word by word. We throw that into a bag of words. And so we want to clean up our sentence again. And we try to just keep isolating words by themselves and then piecing them together. So here we start predicting and getting responses by predicting what somebody's trying to say. And we have an error threshold. And we just do some probability here to try to guess. I named our bot Jenny, so we see that here. And so now we can run the chatbot, and we'll give that a second as well. Okay, so now let's just give an example of something it can do. So let's just say hi. And yeah, okay, so again, not the exact output we want, so let's try that again. Let's just say, how are you? Okay, so let's go back to our intents because maybe I'm just not asking the right things. Okay, let's just say hey. Okay, so there we go. That's more of what we actually wanted. So now let's go into what time does CFA close? And so again, that's what we were talking about earlier. It picks up on time, CFA, not even really close in this case, really just time and Chick-fil-A. So it gives us that general information. And so let's just ask for some tips and tricks. Okay, so it picked up on tips and tricks, which if we come to our intents file, we see this tag for tips here. And so give me some tips and tricks. It picked up on tips and tricks. And so same thing. So let's try the just help. So same thing again. So that shows that our bot has learned something despite our start. So let's just ask it again. What is there to eat? Okay, so the University Center on UTC includes Moe's, Chick-fil-A, Pan Express, Restaurant Row, and Pod Market. Could this have changed? I'm not sure because I haven't been on since I've been in grad school, I haven't been on campus. So this is subject to change. Um, and so let's give it a good example of something it can't do. So what is the weather? Okay, so we asked what is the weather. Nowhere in here is there a word about weather or anything like that. And so it gives us a response. And the response is totally unrelated. And this is a good point to hit on when we start talking about um, generative AI as we know today, like ChatGPT. So if we go into ChatGPT, we can ask it something like that, and it's going to give you a response no matter what. So that's where it falls on to us to make sure that it's not hallucinating, the information is correct and up to date, et cetera, et cetera. So here we see an example of a hallucination. It takes in a question and it has to give us an answer. So that's a good reminder of where generative AI is at today and why you need to double check these things. This isn't like AI gloom and doom or whatever, but it's just a good reminder that, you know, these things are not perfect and that, we have to be able to train them correctly, et cetera, et cetera. Not a big rant or anything, but um, I think that this is a good example of what the large, big word of AI and generative AI that a lot of people think of. This is just a very, very, very basic example of that and a good reminder of, some of the limitations that basic machine learning has all the way up to the Gen AI we see today. So that is all I have for this final project. And yeah, that is it.